Hello, and thank you for joining us on this webinar, an overview of our latest property launch. This is brought to you by Source Capital. My name is Stephen Moss. I'm the Managing Director of Sourced. Now here we have some contact details should you have any questions or queries. So our website address is sourcedcapital.co and our email address is capital@sourced.co. If you'd like to call us during working hours, our number is 0333 900 9999. I'm now going to give you a quick presentation on who we are as a business and then some information about the latest opportunity we have for you to invest and generate a return. So firstly, a bit of an overview of Sourced and who we are as a business. We've got 5 departments within the business. We have a property section, and the team in the property section help investors build property portfolios, so identifying good investment opportunities and helping them achieve their property goals. We have our capital side of the business, which is our peer-to-peer lending platform, which is providing you with the presentation this evening. And we'll go into a little bit about how peer-to-peer works as well. So anybody new to this will have a little bit better understanding at the end of the presentation. We have a development section. So we have over £250 million worth of developments across the UK, which we sell off-plan predominantly. And you can check them out on our website as well. We have our care section, so helping provide property for the care sector and helping communities. And we have our franchise section as well, so a fantastic network of franchisees. To give you a little bit more information about those guys, so 50 offices across the UK, all the way down from Dover, right up to Glasgow, Edinburgh, and everywhere in between. And quite a unique network in terms of people working together, same training, same systems, same focus, to provide good investment opportunities for you to invest in. So our sourced capital side of the business, so property peer-to-peer platform, really interesting in terms of how peer-to-peer has come about and how it's developed over the past years. For us, we love this concept. We love the fact that everybody involved in the peer-to-peer process and in the funding process is generating a return, so it's helping everybody along the way. So you can see on the screen here now, we've got some icons of investors. So that's yourself, or also known as lenders, investing into a platform like Source Capital. And the money is invested into a client account, FCA regulated client account. Once a project's been approved and signed off by a compliance team, the borrower then lends that money and offers in return a security. So in our example of peer-to-peer lending, the security is a property. And in the same respect, the borrower will offer the lenders, yourselves, the investors, a fixed return over a fixed period of time. And the platform gets a small fee on the back of how much the borrower is lending as well. So as I mentioned earlier, it's a great system in terms of all parties involved are getting a great return from it, and it enables people to do more funding to grow their businesses or property portfolios in this instance. For more details, more information about how the peer-to-peer structure works, we do have videos on our website. If you click on the tab for how it works, you'll find lots of videos and lots of information on there. And we have downloadables under the resources section as well. So in terms of the structure of the business, so the platform is designed exclusively for high net worth individuals and sophisticated investors. If you're unsure if you fit into one of these categories, please contact the team. Predominantly, most people fit into sophisticated investors, meaning that they have an understanding of what they're investing into, and they also have an awareness of what the risks, potential losses are, as well as the gains. Source are regulated by the FCA as an appointed representative of Rebuilding Society. So we follow the same rules, the same structure to ensure that we're delivering quality advice, support, and investment opportunities. We're also registered with HMRC, or pensions as well, and we'll touch on that in a little bit more information shortly. Now, as a responsible company, as a responsible lender, we always want to highlight that there are risks involved when dealing in these types of investments. These are some of the potential risks that you'll face when investing into property projects or platform projects. And what's important is that you look at the actual platform as such, so you get an understanding that actually how much of these risks are they mitigated. So ourselves, we always look at to ensure that there's legal first charge in place on the property. We take out a personal guarantee for the borrower. We make sure there's an independent risk valuation. the property goes through our matrix to confirm that the details and return and credit risk are all within the amounts that we've set to ensure that we're hitting the correct targets, and also making sure we're not over lending. As a really good example, loan to value is a great way of judging it. So we will lend maximum 70% loan to value on a property. On this particular project, it's less than 20%, which some people class as lower risk. So it's important to highlight the risks. One of the biggest risks that we do speak to people about quite often is a change in market. And again, that's a reflection that if we're at a low loan to value on a property, if there was a change in market and market conditions, then therefore it would have to affect us by quite some margin for us not to be able to refinance or continue the build on the property. So we're going to jump into the opportunity. We're going to have a look at what we've got available on our latest project. So the property is on Cricklade Road. It's in Swindon. It's a empty property, detached property. It's actually been noted by the surveyor as uninhabitable, which is fantastic. So people from a SSAS point of view and a pension point of view can invest into a project like this. It has planning permission for demolition of the existing property, and then plans in place to erect 6 dwellings, one of which is a 1-bedroom coach house apartment and 5 2-bedroom semi-detached properties. So we're going to have a look at some of the plans. First of all, have a look at some of the garden space and the size of the property. So you'll notice on the property at the bottom right-hand side, there's a building there on the left. It's got a cream colour. So the garden actually extends round the back of that building as well. So it's 2 titles being brought into one, with the planning permission then for the 6 units in place. So here's an example of the drawings for the plans for a 2-bedroom, 2-bedroom semi-detached properties. So really good location, really good starter homes, quite central to Swindon as well. And we're going to find out a little bit more about the location as we go through the presentation. First of all, some comparables. So these are some comparables that were noted by the surveyor, the survey report that took place. So we've got here 2 properties actually on that road, on that street. One was a 3-bedroom semi selling for $235,000 in December last year. Another was another 3-bedroom semi-detached property selling for May 2018 for $225,000. And then we've got one within a quarter-mile radius at 11 Wheeler Avenue, which again, 3-bedroom semi-detached, sold in April 2019 for £225,000. So it's quite interesting from our point of view. We also look at the statistics in terms of growth and average pricing as well. So you can see here on a 4-year price growth, property prices have continued to grow slightly. The average 2-bedroom property sells for £177,000 and the average 3-bedroom for £227,000. So it's quite reassuring for us because it's in line with what our survey forecast in terms of a resale value. It's also good because it shows that there's been continuous growth in the area as well. And the data here is provided by propertydata.co.uk. It's an independent source that we use to gather this information together and provide it to our investors. Let's have a look at the financials on the property project. So the loan amount, the amount we're looking to raise is £200,000. We have a forecast GDV, which is just over £1 million. So the loan to GDV is 19%. So as I mentioned earlier, less than 20% seen relatively low at risk. So loan term is 18 months. So during the 18 months, the demolition of the property will take place, and then the erection of the 6 new properties and the sale as well to the open market. We have an interest rate return back to yourselves as investors of 10% per annum. So with it being an 18-month loan, that's a 15% return over that period. We also have a bonus interest of 2% per annum on investments made of over £20,000. So all the capital and interest that you invest is repaid at the end of the loan term. So at the end of the 18 months, if you were to invest £20,000, you would receive your £20,000 back, along with the interest stated 10% per annum, an additional 2% per annum for investments of £20,000 and above. In terms of security for the loan, so we take first legal charge on this property. So our structure is explained very simply on our website. We have videos on there that go into more detail, and our team are happy to answer any questions or queries that you may have as well. Let's have a little look at the location of the property. So one of the top 5 business locations in England, due to over 38,000 businesses thriving in the area, generating £18 billion for the local economy. Which is fantastic. So it shows there that straight away there are businesses growing, there are businesses opening, which is great for more and more people coming to the area, rental demand, starter homes and property sales as well. Mentioned moments ago, you can actually see from this map, the blue location is there in Cricklade Road. So you can also see actually it's very close to the town centre. So again, good sized property for the location. You can see here that there have been some investments as well. So £500,000 recently invested into the town centre regeneration. We mentioned moments ago about the economy, local, and how it's been boosted by the number of businesses. They also include sectors, particularly from the financial, professional services, manufacturing and engineering as well. So we do have a downloadable document on the project. So if you register for a free account at sourcedcapital.co and you go into this particular project, you can actually download the survey report and a due diligence pack as well, which will give you a little bit more information about the location and a little bit more overview of the growth, etc. So let's have a look at the parties involved in this particular project. First of all, we have Sourced Head Office. So our role as HQ is to assess the projects, manage the launch, help the franchisee, support the borrower through each phase of the project. So we're not here just simply to lend the money to our borrowers and our franchisees. We're here to then support them to make sure that we deliver what we're saying we're going to do. We're going to build the 6 properties, either resell them on the open market or refinance them, and then repay our investors along with the interest that we've quoted as well. So let's meet our actual borrower. So this is Malcom Corcoran. He's based in Swindon. So Malcom is an experienced property investor and director shareholder of the SPV that's been set up to purchase this property. Upon completion of the property, completion of a full application, so the borrower credit checked, a financial review has taken place, reviewing bank statements, affordability statements, assets, liabilities, with evidence that should there be a problem or should Malcom need to step in to help and support the project, he is able to do that. That's part of our credit risk sign-off, part of our team do. We also have the Contractor RS group. So you can see some of the images of projects that they've completed. So quite an experienced and highly recommended company. They've undertaken similar projects in and around the area. Jeff Roberts is the director of RS Group, a building contractor with over 35 years industry experience. Got a very good reputation in and around Swindon. One of the key things as well when selecting the contractor, several quotations were put forward, but the fact this contractor has worked with the borrower previously. So we know the standard of work, we know these types of projects he's delivered in the past, so we're a lot more comfortable in entering into a contract with them to deliver these types of build. Let's have a look at how the security of peer-to-peer lending with Sourced is put in place. So firstly, at Sourced, we only invest in property, a secured asset. Lending is generally based on a short-term basis, 6 to 18 months, which reduces the risk of market changing. So on this example that we're talking about, it's 18 months. Sourced is currently the largest network of fully compliant specialist property sourcing agents. So the opportunities that we find, we do 3 levels of due diligence independently as well, and then presented to our investors. We have over 100 years experience and completion for more than £200 million worth of property transaction with a fully compliant operational system and project managers in-house as well. Sourced peer-to-peer lending platform, returns up to 12%, fully secured against the property at a maximum loan to value of 70%. As we mentioned earlier, on this particular project, it's 19%. One of the big advantages that Sourced have is our repayment rate to investors is 100%. So on every project we've completed, our investors have been paid on time with the full amount as well. Let's have a look at the exit strategy for this particular property and when the interest will be repaid to our investors. So the building works will be carried out. The borrower will then look for an open market sale. Should the open market sale take too long, then we do have a refinancing option in place, an agreement in principle in place that we can refer to ensure that the investors are repaid their investment. Interest will be repaid with the capital at the end of the term. We do have a special offer. So if you do invest more than £20,000, you will get an additional 2% cashback per annum on your investments. And we also have, if this is your first investment, you'll get a £50 bonus for any investments over £500 on the drawdown of the loan. There are three ways that you can invest with sourced capital. There are regular investments, so savings as an example. You have the IF ISA, so whether you want to create a new ISA on source platform or transfer an existing ISA. And you can also invest with a SIP or SAS pension. So further information on how they work, all three different ways that you can invest, can be found on our website, sourcecapital.co. If you click on the tab for how it works, you'll see videos on each one, which will give you a little bit more information about the structure and how you can do that. So to invest, simply visit sourcecapital.co, register for a free account, pick a project, invest and earn up to 12% per annum. This project is now live, so you can see this live on sourcecapital.co/projects. If you do have any questions or queries, please don't hesitate to contact us via email at capital@source.co or telephone 0333 900 9999. Thank you very much for your time. We look forward to working with you on this and other projects in the future. Thank you.